Madam President.
Senator from Tennessee.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to begin by saying thank you to my colleague from Florida who is doing so much good work on the Armed Services Committee. And I also thank Chairman Inhofe and other members of committee who have made it a priority to be certain that our men and women in uniform are well cared for and their families are protected, and that we're thinking toward the future as we look at this year's NDAA. As we have gone through this year's NDAA drafting process with a unique frame of reference, the effects of the COVID pandemic have made our national security, our supply chain, our research and development vulnerabilities national news. I think they've shifted somewhat the focus that the American people have had, and I can't remember a time when I've had so many Tennesseans contacting my office asking questions about our critical infrastructure supply chain. How are we protecting ourselves, and how do we look at what is transpiring in our nation and globally to consider how we best protect ourselves and defend this nation? The fallout from the pandemic has highlighted the need for our armed forces to reassert themselves globally. The proposed 2021 NDAA that we are gathered on the floor this morning to discuss and to show our support for this legislation and for its funding. And it will do some critical things. The newly created Pacific Deterrence Initiative will enhance U.S. global leadership and devote needed attention and resources to multinational fusion centers in the Indo-Pacific, where we can work with our allies and partners to reduce the threat of Chinese aggression. And that is something, Madam President, that through COVID, through the way China has stolen our intellectual property, this has come to the forefront. But just having the presence won't be enough if we don't focus on innovation as an essential element of our national security. We will fall behind. It is imperative that we continue to lead in technology, in research and development, in making certain that the 21st century is going to be a century of freedom. In this year's NDAA, we prioritized education. The proposed package includes funding for ROTC, educational opportunities in STEM fields, and I will tell you, in Tennessee, we have the Dobbins-Bennett High School, Kingsport, Tennessee. They're continuing great work in these JROTC programs, and we're also going to invest in collaborative research between academia and military. Programs like Pathfinder Air Assault will strengthen our armed forces against dangerous adversaries like China, Iran, and Russia, all part of the new axis of evil. And I'm thrilled to see what researchers at the University of Tennessee, University of Memphis, and Vanderbilt University will do with this opportunity. We're also going to take all of the progress we've made in cybersecurity and bring it on home to our state and local governments. National Guard cybersecurity assistance programs will improve homeland security at every level of government by leveraging Department of Defense resources against foreign adversaries. And last but not least, I want to highlight the inclusion of language that will secure American supply chains by requiring a percentage of critical technologies to be manufactured and assembled in the U.S. or an ally country. All these items appear right alongside more funding for a better quality of life for our military families. We'll also be seeing more Chinooks flying home to Fort Campbell, Tennessee, and investing in practical improvements on our military bases. Madam President, ours is the kind of freedom that is always in danger of extinction, but always worth protecting. And with this bill, I believe we have ensured that our best first line of defense has the ability to do so. We thank our military men and women, and I yield the floor.